Welcome to Mended Teacups. Molly and I are ready with our cups of tea. I hope you're relaxed and listening. Today we're going to talk about advice for a new home educator, if we feel we can offer any.
Yes.
So first of all, are we qualified? I've been my oldest son is 19 and my youngest daughter is 11. So I've been home educating for a number of years.
Yes.
How long have you been?
Veteran homeschooler, I say.
I still feel like I'm learning new things every day,
yes.
I must say.
I think that's part of it, isn't it? That
Absolutely.
we just keep learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, take us away, Molly. What's advice?
Oh gosh. Well, the idea came from this particular one. I have just a little blog, and I from part of our homeschool group, a mum who was thinking about homeschooling, posted a question and said, any advice to if I'm going to start homeschooling, which she has subsequently, what should I do? And so I thought, that would be a really great blog post. So I wrote some of it down. So these aren't all my ideas, these are ideas from the kind of the homeschool group that went on the post. So I guess the things kind of from my heart, if you're going to start doing it, is first of all, it's different from school. So if either you've been at school yourself or your children have been in school, I think it's really important to try not to put those expectations that they have to be the same and do the same number of hours that they would at school, or achieve the same things. For a school system to work, I guess they have to all have achieved a certain amount by certain times, but we are all different. They all learn to walk at different times. Older kids will learn to drive cars at different times,
yes.
And so ride a bike at different times. So I think try to, if you possibly can, take off expectations about when they should have achieved certain milestones. I'd say just really relax into it, just to enjoy being with your children.
Yes.
I think my oldest one's 17 now, and I think actually I've become more relaxed with the younger ones because I kind of see that actually it kicks in when they need to do it. It kicks in, and actually if they can spend lots of their early years just simply learning for themselves and exploring and being creative and letting, giving them an environment where their natural curiosity leads them to learn, then actually they've got a really good foundation for when they're teenagers and they have to do kind of more formal educations to jump through the hoops. So so I think so one of those things is just to relax into it. Try not to compare because it's different, and also try not to compare yourself with other home educating families as well, which is a real thing which we all do, but especially when they've got nice pictures on their blogs.
Yes.
But actually nobody's homes are perfect, and I think the one that I always say it, but I just think one of the joys of home educating is that we're all created differently, we're all different, and so each family's different, and you need to see if you can find what it is that makes that makes your family tick, kind of thing. What is going to be your family culture? I think I've heard it called that before. What's your family culture going to be around?
Because one of the things I wrote down on my list of things was to have a think. What do you think learning is for?
Yes, yeah.
What do you and your family think learning is for?
Yeah.
And how do you think you want to impart learning? And how do you think your children will gather learning? Because we have different. Well, recently they said we don't have different learning styles, but up until now they said we do have different learning styles, or maybe different learning preferences. And not to be afraid of that, but to embrace it and to think this is where we're heading. Only in very general terms. Don't have to decide when your child's 5 they want to be a lawyer or anything, but some people call it your educational philosophy. Where are you coming from with what you think is important about education?
And what are the sorts of values that you want to put into your family as well? And so like one of the things I guess for us is sort of hospitality, and so we do quite often have people around because that's sort of something that where we live, that's just sort of seems to be a natural thing to do, kind of thing. So I think it's sort of those different kind of values as well, and like we kind of read the Bible every morning, and so that's a value system for us. So
I think some families put up make a family list, don't they? In our family,
Yes, that's
it's something
a nice
that I've
idea.
wondered about doing with my children. I think perhaps when your children are smaller, they don't get that as an idea, but as they get older, and generally you can refer to. I mean, I have my list in my head in some ways, and I say when the children are doing something I don't like, we don't do that in our family. In our family, we
want to try to be kind to each other.
We want to be kind.
Yes.
So
at least give it a go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moving on, kind of connected, I suppose. I've thought about being led by your children, but not dictated to by your children.
That's really good. Yeah,
so
that's very good.
Your children have interests. That doesn't mean to say they can spend all their time on their interests, and it's really important. In my opinion, I think it's really important to broaden what they're exposed to, and what they can access.
Yeah.
I did hear of a family who the children said no, they didn't want to go to any stately homes, so they never went, and I thought that was a bit of a shame because actually my children often say I don't want to go, and when you get there you discover they're having a whale of a time. And they're learning things, and it's a great day out as well. But having said that, all people, not children, all people have their interests and the things they're good at. I think God's made us to have different interests and abilities, and if you follow those, you're being led down a path of what you're good at. This great thing about home education is there's no school bell, so if you're interested in something, you can carry on until you're hungry.
Yes.
So as I say, not that they always get to choose what they do, but you as a parent can understand what makes them tick. Again, what makes them work.
And you can teach the same. I remember doing history. When I did medieval history with the boys, I found it really tedious because they were really into it. They liked all the battles, they liked the armour, they liked the castles, and it just didn't click with me. So I was actually going to just skip medieval history with the girls, and then one of our friends said, no, you can't do that, it's fantastic. So she re-inspired me, and so I started again with girls, and it was a completely different experience because actually, it sounds stereotypical, but with ours it is true, they were really interested in the lifestyle, how people lived in the Middle Ages, and so we read a really good story about that, and so actually I've completely enjoyed the Middle Ages this time around. So you can kind of gear, you can say, well, we are going to do history, but you can kind of gear it towards what they're interested in.
Definitely, yes. I think it's important. We've spoken about socialising in another group, but I think for the mum, it's usually the mum, perhaps the dad. I think there's two people you need to find. You need to find someone who's kind of at the same stage as you, and someone who's a little bit ahead of you. Someone who you can go through the days with, and you're roughly at the same point.
You can identify with each other,
and you can commiserate. But someone maybe who's just a bit ahead, who can encourage you. I think some new home educators are daunted by those of us who've done it a long time because they think we're too relaxed, maybe. I don't know. But someone who's a little bit further ahead can give you a little bit of encouragement when you need a bit of inspiration. And it's good to find those two people for you.
No, that's really wise advice. We weren't part of a home ed group for years because there wasn't one really. But when we did, we hit GCSEs, and it was like, I really need to know that there are other kids who go through this, and I think it'd be good for the boys to have that support, but actually I need that support as well. And it has been a really, really positive thing, joining a home ed group. So if you're somewhere where there is one, I'd definitely advise to join it, and if there isn't one, then see if there's kind of one that's vaguely near that if you can just kind of dip in and out of. That's still, and then you make just a few friends, because even if you're not seeing people all the time, if you just make a few friendships, then I think that's really important. I think it's good. I think it is also good for your children to know that there are other children who are being homeschooled, and I think that's important as well.
Yes, so no, they're not weird.
Yes, absolutely,
From a lot of other places. We've alluded it to in one of our other podcasts, get outside every day.
Yes, definitely. That's a lifesaver. It can turn a bad day good.
Definitely. Just changes the whole atmosphere. If when things are getting a bit fraught, go outside,
definitely.
Get some sunshine, bit of vitamin D, doesn't go amiss, does it?
Our girls, two of our girls, maybe three of them actually, are playing outside at the moment, and we can watch them going backwards and forwards. So it's a nice sunny day here today. there were a few other things that people wrote down on the list. One of them was start to build a great collection of books or collection of great books, and that is certainly, well, for both of us, that's just a lovely thing to do. And charity shops and National Trust shops, and
absolutely. I built on my own collection. I had all my childhood books. But obviously, you may not have been much of a reader as a child, but I think there are lots of places out there with book lists that you can access. As soon as you start talking to other home editors, you can share and swap books too.
So that's a really, really foundational one. I think we'd all agree. To learn from real books, real people, real life experience. Every day is a great learning opportunity. And I think when I started, I used to feel a bit guilty that I wanted to take the kids out, and if we were learning about a country, I wanted them to meet somebody who was from that country and kind of talk about it. And I kind of felt a bit guilty that we were doing this because we weren't sitting doing it from a book. But I just intuitively thought that was surely a better idea. We cook the food if we're learning from different countries. We'll try have a go at cooking it in something. So I think that's really important, actually, that it's a different way of learning. It is different. So
be ready to ask questions of people you meet in the street. Now they're older, my children get embarrassed, but when they were younger they were interested because I would stop. If there was a man mending the road, we'd stop and have a look. They're often very happy to chat.
They are, aren't they? I know, it's amazing. I heard, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that their child had decided to become a tree surgeon because he'd been watching somebody chop a tree down near to their house, and he spent the whole day watching, and that was what he decided to do. So but one of my sons in particular, he's very dyslexic actually, but he's a very, very socially orientated child, and so he would always go up to everybody and ask questions, even when he was little, to check out. It would be embarrassing, at the supermarket, and he'd be asking, why is this and why is that, and the queue would be piling up. I'd say, come on then, we've got to go. So I think that's good. What other ones were there? You've said that, go with what they're interested. Don't rush learning and take lots of detours. I think that's something that I've sort of I think you often have to get unschooled a little bit, even if your kids have been in the school system or you have, that actually it's okay just to take a detour. You don't have to achieve a certain amount on a certain day, and I've got more relaxed about that over the years. The quiet time after lunch, lots of people wrote in and said that's really important, having whatever you call it, but your kind of quiet time after lunch when you sit down with, mum has tea and chocolate, and and everyone has a book or Lego or an audio or something. And I think I think I would definitely recommend, particularly for starting off with young children, that actually that's a really good thing. And actually even my older children still, if they're at home from college, they'll still often have a quiet time after lunch. They're just used to that.
Yes, it's sort of a reset before the afternoon, isn't it? I've just thought of one more, which is while you're reading aloud, don't be afraid if the children are moving.
Yes.
When you were just saying about Lego in a quiet time.
Yes.
I got used to it very quickly, and my husband found it much harder to get used to, that I would let the children colour or play something very quiet. It had to be quiet while I was reading aloud.
Yes.
But that came from watching my own children and reading about the thing that actually some children need to move while they read, and that's while they listen, and that's not a problem.
And they can concentrate better, can't they? If they're colouring or playing Lego or something. One of my boys is like that, and even when we were doing doing GCSE stuff, he would still be there sitting with some plasticine or some Lego, or if he didn't have anything, he would make a catapult, which was us trying to. It was just like a constant, let's just try and get this chemistry done, or try and get this physics done. He'd be making elastic band and pencil catapults, and it's like, oh gosh.
The key story I remember, it wasn't my own story, but I do remember a mum reading to her three children, the older three children, and she'd got them sitting quietly to do that. And the little one was just playing, not listening to the story as far as she was aware. But when she was asking the questions afterwards, it was the little one who could answer all the questions.
Isn't that interesting?
And that's when she realised maybe moving is not a problem.
Yeah, not a bad thing,
Because I think that sometimes, and it's obviously different for different children, but some children have to concentrate so hard to make themselves not wiggle. That's what they're thinking about.
No, definitely, I totally go with that one. And those active kids their activity will be useful for them in the future.
Definitely, yes.
I've thought of one last one, actually. I didn't have on my list, but I've just thought of it now. and that comes, I guess, after quite a few years of homeschooling, and I haven't been very good at it, is looking after yourself. And I do think that's really, really important, because it's a long haul. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yep.
And actually, if you want to keep going for the marathon, and in fact it was Sally Clarkson who eventually got it into me. She said, you're not getting any younger. you need if you're going to go the full journey, you actually need to start looking after yourself. So it's actually only in the last year or so that I've been more intentional about just trying to make sure that I haven't been very good at it, in fact, but I'm trying to think about it. My mum has them once a month actually, and I have a bit of time out, which is really nice. So that's really, really nice. But I would say that it's really important to invest in yourselves, because you have to be able, if you're going to be giving out all the time. I say to kids, it's like you can't give out on a empty fuel tank.
Absolutely.
A car needs filling up, and our petrol tanks need filling up, and whether that's with time by ourselves, or time with friends, or time out walking, or time reading, or whatever it is that fills our petrol tanks, kind of thing, that would be a definite advice, that you need to look after yourselves.
Yes. I think it's great for the children to see that you're looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Because that teaches them about looking after themselves in their turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not all about... We can be quite focused on giving.
Yeah.
And we are a family who donates. We are a family who gives hospitality.
Yeah.
And yes, they need to know we're a family who is ready to do that, because we've looked after ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I suppose we must say, pray.
Pray, yes. How could I have forgotten that? It's a foundational. Thank you so much. Yes, that's absolutely the foundation, definitely, for anything else.
We do pray.
Yeah.
Well, I think, have you finished your tea?
Yeah, I think I finished my tea, yes.
Put another kettle on for the next one?
Absolutely, definitely.
It's lovely having you all with us.
Bye-bye.